Welcome to Happily Ever Aftermath,
the podcast where we discuss relationships in movies and our relationships with them.
I'm Polina Grinbaum.
And I'm Diana Rojek Skonnord.
Hello, Diana.
This is Halloween. Hi, Polina. Halloween time, kind of. Unless you're listening to it after Halloween, in which case, hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
In which case, it's just nice memories of Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you had a horrible Halloween, in which case, I'm really sorry for triggering you.
This is random. March, possibly. Don't know. But in our hearts, as we record this, it is October.
It is Halloween.
Time. The air is crisp, and we're talking about Casper.
We are.
Not the mattress.
No. Despite despite what the internet wanted me to talk about.
Casper is 1995,
right.
And before I dive into the description, I would like to welcome our very special guest that I promised and teased, and she materialized.
She did.
And this is my wonderful sister-in-law, Carly Skonnord.
Hello.
Hello.
It's so nice to meet you.
You too.
So it was very important for me because Casper was officially my pick. But at the same time, though, a while ago, Carly and I had a conversation about this movie. I'm just like, will you be on the podcast? And she agreed. You did agree, right?
Oh, giving it thought. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. The shackles, her voice says yes, but the shackles say no.
I'm so happy right now that family does what you want them to.
I'm excited that I got to meet Ryan's sister, so.
Yep. So you're welcomes. Yeah. Okay. So Casper 95, as I said, Casper, voiced by Malachi Pearson, is a kind young ghost who peacefully haunts a mansion in Maine when specialist James Harvey, Bill Pullman, his third appearance on the podcast, by the way, arrives to communicate with Casper and his fellow spirits. He brings along his teenage daughter, Kat, Christina Ricci. Casper quickly falls in love with Kat, but their budding relationship is complicated not only by his transparent state, but also his troublemaking apparition uncles and their mischievous antics. Thank you very much, Google results on that description. I don't have too many problems with this description.
No.
Although I did stumble over a couple words, no problem.
But I think that was a problem with the description.
Yes. Okay. So I know the backstory. This was my pick. So,
yes.
95, I was approximately 13 when I watched this.
Prime, around the same age as the as the protagonists.
Carly, tell me a little bit about your experience with this movie.
So this movie was very important to me as a child. It was probably my favorite movie. I was madly in love with the movie itself, as well as Casper. I think I was in second grade when I saw it. I don't remember seeing it in theaters, but I know that I had to have. And my love of this movie was definitely amplified by having a little Casper doll.
There was a doll?
There was a doll. It
crap.
came from Pizza Hut, actually.
Ooh.
That sounds kind of funny, actually.
Yeah, they were selling Casper and the trio weird little 6-inch rubber ghost toys. And I remember I was hanging out with my mom while we waited for my brother Ryan to finish with his karate class.
I'm familiar with both of them.
And I was in a bad mood about something. I was being a total brat, so my mom bought me a toy to shut me up, and it worked really well. And that Casper doll came with me everywhere for probably about 2 years. It was Angelica Pickles and Cynthia Level. Came with me to Minnesota.
Oh my God.
Wow.
90s. And it was kind of embarrassingly my best friend. Got some fingers chewed off by a dog. And
wait, it had fingers?
Well, yeah, little ghost fingers.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
They actually made reference to that because he had 4.
Yeah, that's true. You had no thumb. Yeah. The whole thing is a blur of madness for me. To be honest. It was only a few hours ago. And
I'm just imagining young Carly and her
with her
trio, her entourage.
So wait, did you have all 3 or just the one?
No, just the one.
I think you chose well.
I think so too.
I'm also irritated that it had to be paid for and it didn't come with a large something or whatever. a large meal or whatever. Come on, that's how I got all of my toys.
Oh yeah, yeah, with purchase, free with purchase. I understand. I did the same thing. That was I loved it.
Did Taco Bell have meals, like kids' meals?
I think for a very brief amount of time.
Weird.
Mine was all Happy Meals and Cracker Jacks.
I was about to say Happy Meals. Isn't that like trademarked or something like that? You can't.
Are we not allowed to say it? No.
Like, were you only McDonald's Happy Meals?
I don't really remember other things having. In fact, we went to Pizza Hut all the time when I was a kid, like all the time. Like when you said Pizza Hut, I had this like lovely memories of going to the salad bar. I was a weird kid, but everyone who listens to this podcast knows that. And the pizza, everything about it, the smell. And they didn't have toys then,
like ever. They did not have toys back in the day.
Yeah, they just no toys. We had to make do with like the olives and the beets from the salad bar.
I was about to make a joke. In my day, toys were potatoes.
In my day, toys were potatoes.
They had eyes.
Exactly. Exactly. Little arms. If you could have them grow arms if you waited long enough.
So I will let Polina ask her important question about format, but I'm going to step in really first.
Right.
How often did you watch this movie?
Oh, often. I mean, I watched 2 movies ever when I was a kid, and and I still do that as an adult, though I've seen 5 now. But back in VHS days, that was one of the few things that I watched on TV. So probably every couple weeks or so, if I had to make an estimate. I definitely had it memorized. And I was surprised how little I remembered of it, too.
That was going to be my next question. How much of it could you actually do the beats of and not so much?
It was interesting. It was one of those things where, I knew what was happening as it was coming, but I couldn't predict what was happening, 5 minutes down.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And I'd forgotten a lot of plots of the story. More than anything, I was really surprised by how dark it is.
It's so dark.
It's all about death.
It's so sad. And then they wrap it all up at the end. I don't know. This whole, I still haven't recovered. I need to hear you guys talk about it. Can I ask some, so you answered the format question, which I'm always fascinated by.
She loves the VHS format question.
I do. But when you watch it every few weeks, what were the, what was I can't think of the word for some reason, but what were the conditions under which you would watch this movie? Is it I'm bored, I need something in the background while I do boring homework, a bunch of my friends watch it, I had a sad day at school, what was what when you made you go that movie?
All of the above.
Just any.
I wanted to hang out with my Casper doll and figured he liked watching his movie.
Oh
no! It was
an ego.
It was just one of my favorite things.
I love it
to do. Yeah,
exactly. All right, you said there were 2 movies. Mm-hmm. Would you share the other one?
Lion King.
Oh, good choice.
Are you not traumatized by that movie?
I mean, that's debatable.
Okay.
So they're both dark, both to death.
That's
Carly. I feel like you and I are really similar.
Do you want Carly to watch Gothic?
Yes. Well, no. She's only seen 5 movies. If we're gonna add a 6th, I feel like I should really think it through and not torture her. Okay. Yes. Well, but it is dark.
It's pretty. Well, it's literally dark.
It's quite literally dark during the whole thing.
We should.
I mean, there's some scenes in the garden, but it's dark.
You might have missed your time. Yeah. Okay, but that's
anyway.
Okay.
No, I feel you. I was similar.
Fine, Lost Boys. It is.
Yeah. Yay.
Happiness. That's. I love this so much right now. I'll just.
Okay.
Again, you're giving me tales of just younger Carly, and it's just, of course, it's extra deep for me because younger Carly is watching Casper with Casper, and I'm wondering is Ryan just kind of glowering in the background while it's happening?
Usually, yeah.
Did he ever watch it with you?
Oh, I'm sure.
When I rewatched it, Ryan was there. Were you there the whole time? He was there the whole time with me, and the whole time I was watching, and I'm just like, "Did you remember that? Did you remember that?" Because like I had the exact same experience you did, where the movie started, and I'm like, I don't know what. This is the thing where the kids go in and the thing and the Polaroid and all the other stuff. So it did come to me. I remembered most of the cameos and the jokes before they happened. Speaking of darkness,
the cameos were wonderful. I loved all those. They were just they were genius.
They were really, really well done. But so the priest did not remember his head being fully turned around. That freaked me out.
What the hell?
This is PG. This is PG and a little bit messed up. But so that Ryan, I told him, I'm just like, honey, it's Father Guido Sarducci. And I'm like, he's like, what? And I'm like, I don't know. I just know it's Father Guido Sarducci.
I think I told you, I just had a really crazy week. So I actually ended up watching this during the day.
And you're still glowing from it.
I'm sure that's one way to put it. No, I am. I'm like, so I started watching it while I was making myself lunch. I work at home on Fridays. And I kind of looked away for a second while I was chopping a tomato, and I look back a second later, and Father Guido Sarducci had his head on backwards. I was like, I don't think this is a movie I can half watch. I think
you give your full attention to our movies.
I mean, I literally was like, I was watching it, on the iPad, like right next to it, thinking I saw it. And I literally looked up for a second, and there he was with like his head turned on backwards. It was crazy.
And let's not forget all of the vomit just splashed on his front too.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to think about that. I have an easy gag reflex.
Yeah.
Speaking of gag reflex, Mel Gibson is in this movie.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I had the same. I was like, oh, you're all like delighted every one of these. Once you realize it's like, you're like, this is great. What's going to happen next?
And it was weird though, because it was like.
It was a different time.
Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson looked really young.
Yeah.
It was freaking me out.
Though weirdly, the Clint Eastwood thing did not like. Clint Eastwood, I still had these nice warm feelings toward Clint Eastwood, despite but Mel Gibson, I was like, oh, that took a turn.
So Mel Gibson, and then we went back to I forgot about Rodney Dangerfield.
Yes,
which is really
that
cool.
was delightful.
So for some reason, I remembered Clint Eastwood, I remembered Mel Gibson, I remembered the Crypt Keeper, and poor Rodney Dangerfield literally got no respect from me because I forgot that he was part of that entire scene. So poor that. And shout out to Dan Aykroyd, who didn't shave his mustache, being his character from Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that was actually also pretty fantastic.
Yeah. So now here's
well done, well played.
So you, Carly, had mentioned just like, wow, this is really dark, and Pliny, you concur. What else sticks out in the darkness that you didn't remember when you were younger, and you were like, as an adult, holy crap?
I mean, I thought the last bit was like the last 10 minutes of the movie or 15 were like, I mean, first off, her father dies.
Yeah.
So she's suddenly completely orphaned in this scary, terrifying house. And like, doesn't seem like they kind of have a big cushion. And then it's like,
you're looking at the finances.
I was just like, the whole thing, I was like, Christina. I mean, I know her name is Kathleen, but I really like Christina Ricci. So I was like, that, and then the mom, and then this whole thing of like, I couldn't get over the fact that Casper was going to be a boy for like, what ended up being like 4.5 minutes.
Those were great minutes.
They were, and then it was never gonna I'm like, this is the cruelest thing. And then like the mom thing was sort of sweet, but kind of disturbing. And then there's just like so much death, and it's just a movie about and then it just all wrapped up. Like it was just over. And actually, my friend came over, and I was like, at the time, I was like, you have to see the last 8 minutes of this movie. I saw a couple hours ago. I don't know. And then Sean, my husband, comes in and he's like, wait, so after all that, like, it's just, that's like, they live in this house. Like, what happens now? What is going on? So yeah,
that's what our
but that's what that's what we cover. Yeah. So anyway, I just thought the whole premise, and there's this like, there's such a deep underlying loneliness and sadness through the whole movie. Like Casper has had this horrible life where he's basically like Cinderella to his uncles, like, and and she's like, okay, I moved around a lot. You sound like you moved as a child a lot as well.
Not really.
Oh, okay. I moved around a lot as a child, and
So like once,
same town.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Across town.
Okay. And sorry, I misunderstood. And
She was. You're trying to read her whole future based off of her love of Casper.
apparently, no, she said Minnesota. Came with me to Minnesota, and I thought maybe you lived in Minnesota for a little while. I don't. What? Sorry. Yes, I felt a connection to Carly. I thought maybe we like experienced the same things. Anyway, I moved around a lot. So I was like watching like her with the whole like being a new kid at school, and it was hard. It was just.
Well, here's a question. How many schools did you go to?
Several. 3 elementary schools. And then just 1 middle school and high school. But that was rough, switching schools every 2 years just because of zoning.
Zoning. Well, yeah. And also, I remember this because, Ryan and I had this conversation. He went to this school, and then a new middle school opened up. So he went to both of them. And so I'm just like, wait a minute, Carly, did you have to go through the same thing? No, middle school wise, but you had the elementary school thing. So you had the new kid thing, kind of, maybe.
I had to go to my first day of middle school twice because we moved in 6th grade. And I went to one school where middle school started in 6th. You had 6th, 7th, 8th.
Okay.
And we moved at the end of that year. And then I had to go to 7th grade like the next year. So I had to go through the first day of middle school twice.
So when you switched over, it was 7, 8, 9?
Yeah. Well, no, it was 7 and 8.
7 and 8. Okay. I want to play this game. Okay. So similarly, actually, I had the good version of it. So we went from, it was junior high. It was 7, 8, 9. So we had the first day of that. And then when we, for some reason, decided to switch to middle school. So we went from being the youngest class to being the oldest class. But in all actuality, my first day of junior high, we had a track system. And so we were red track, which means you had 1 month and then everyone else had already started. So everyone was 1 month in, and then each track would take a different month off. So you have all these different rotations. It was an opportunity for them to like reduce the number of classrooms that they needed. Well, one chunk of the people were gone. And so not only was my first day of school...
But everyone still is spending the majority of the year all together.
Yes, but the whole idea behind it was 1/4 of the school was gone, so that way the classrooms could be filled with just 1/4 or 3/4 of the people there while people were on vacation.
Oh.
That was my understanding of why we did it.
No, that makes sense.
So I was on red track, so everyone else had started school. My first day was not only the first day, but I was in the GATE program, so I had 0 period where no one else that I was starting with had 0 period. So I wandered into a 9th grade English class and I didn't know it because my transcript said to appear in this room on this day. And I did. And I'm just like, I'm in it right now. And the teacher came to me like, I don't think you're in the right spot. So they took me to the office. And then the office told me where it should have been, but they didn't tell me where the class actually was. So I get to walk into this classroom as somebody's giving a lecture about why you shouldn't be late.
Oh.
That was my first day in middle school.
Oh my God.
It was horrible. And then it turns out that the teacher that helped me out was my band teacher, that I got to see him 2 periods later.
Oh.
That was horrible. Thanks, Paulina.
School anxiety flashbacks.
I'm sorry.
I know. I'm like, oh my God, I have so many horrible stories. So what was it? Other than, the darkness. So the darkness got to you.
Let's go back to
the darkness. So the darkness. So when you, watching it, like what was different? So what specifically was darker than you remember?
Yeah, even just the basis of the whole plot in the fact that every single character was grieving something.
Yeah.
And the emotional layers for that, which, you know, I remembered to a certain extent. I remembered it was about ghosts, but not the fact that every single character's plot line was centered around some sort of loss, whether it was loss of a parent or a spouse or your own life. And I remember that I felt really bad for Kat losing her mom when I saw it as a kid. And that part struck me as really hard. And same with when her dad died for a while, too. I remember that scene where he busts in as the ghost. That just like hitting me like a ton of bricks. But this time watching it, just feeling so bad for her dad losing his partner and seeing the grief that he was going through and him taking his daughter on this crazy journey that was messing up her life and his life and just seeing the depth of, you know, this silly dad character and realizing, no, he's really screwed up. And so is everyone else in this movie.
He's basically like he's moving around. So he's a ghost psychologist. So basically instead of performing exorcisms by like, I don't know, casting them out or whatever. I don't watch a lot of horror movies. So I don't know.
What are you talking about? Those are documentaries.
Okay.
I compel you to watch those movies.
I saw The Exorcist, so literally all of my
Also a head spinning movie.
Yes, also a head spinning movie, and not nearly as scary as I was told, but I was also like 30, so maybe that helped. But so anyway, a lot of the premise of the movie is basically that he's going around, and you realize like really early on that she basically says to him, like, so he's been dragging her from like place to place for years, and basically it's like he's looking for his wife.
That was actually one of the biggest moments of rewatching it, is when they're driving to the next spot and he's all excited and she just goes, "You're not going to find her." And I'm like, oh.
I know. I was all like, this is really funny. And then she said that and I was just like, my face turned red and tears like popped into my eyes. And I was like, oh, this is not what I think. I mean, that was a pretty intense. Also, I will say like one of the great things about Bill Pullman and Christina Ricci both is like, they have this way, I think, of being in these ridiculous, you know, premises, but you like totally buy it. And there's like a lot of depth in that. I mean, the fact that like, yeah, you can watch it as an adult and it's like, it's still a silly, you know, he's like, he's funny. There's a lot of physical humor, but then like, there's this, like, you're like, yeah, it's real. He is missing her so much.
And they kind of pop back and forth because you have like the gross out humor with the uncles, and then you have like the really deep emotional part of it, which is pretty interesting. And then you have this side plot of just the heiress who wants her treasure.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot going on in this movie.
There's so much going on. That was, I was trying to explain it. I was like, oh, there's so many, like, she's like, well, how did they end up in the house? I'm like, oh, I can't even explain. There's a horrible heiress who like, who inherits this haunted house, and there's treasure in the house, just how the psychologist ends up there.
And I feel really bad for her, I guess, lawyer.
Close personal friend.
Oh, right.
Oh, boy.
Which as an adult
that's topical. Also, really topical.
Aww.
All roads lead back, man.
It's shout out to Eric Idle, though.
Oh, he was fantastic.
Oh, that's for wait. Did I do the cast? I didn't do the actual cast.
Oh, yeah.
No, like, you know, Christina Ricci, Bill Pullman, Cathy Moriarty, Eric Idle. I did
Amy Brenneman
as the mom, which there's a great gift of her kind of floating in there. And for some reason, I have a better memory. I have it in gift form in my brain, and it's just always so magical. And I'm just like, she's going to do the thing when it was time for the music to start playing. She's going to do the thing where she floats in, and it's going to be amazing. And it was okay.
She was very glowy, though. Like, the hair was glowy, the fingers were glowy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
apparently in heaven, matte lipstick is very matte. That's what I noticed.
Okay. I love your observations. any other parts about Casper? Okay, well, actually, if I may, I'm going.
Oh, Ben Stein is also in this.
Ben
movie.
Stein, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Reading the
the
last will about how like $1 million to the Pumas, $1.3 million to the Dolphins,
17 million to something or other. I'm like, how much money does this guy have?
a lot,
And
yet not enough.
Never enough.
Didn't like his daughter. You would assume assume that she would be just okay. I don't know.
She was pretty horrible.
A little bit.
I bet she deserved it.
Maybe. But then again, that's, her father
May have been horrible.
Where was he?
We don't know.
Yeah. Maybe he was trying to buy away the guilt with the Dolphins.
Yes.
That's not good.
See, everything about this movie is dark.
Well, like deep rooted, like what are her motivations? You think she's just like your base character of evil only wants money.
Like,
but,
rich.
But did she just want her father's love? And
did she spend her entire life looking for her father's love and didn't get it? And worked so hard and you're like, and then realize like, this is never going to happen. At the very least, maybe I'll get some money. And then finds out she doesn't.
I would say at how quickly she tried to kill her close personal friend Dibs in order to get him through a wall so they could find a treasure. There's something going on there that's deeper than my father didn't love me.
Yeah. Can it? Her mother didn't love her.
What happened to her?
Don't know. Never gets
spoken
mentioned.
What's up with that?
Also grief.
That's a lot of grief.
That's a lot of grief.
Also, is there a chance that she's related to Casper?
Really?
Well, if her father owned the house.
Yeah. No, my God, you're right. Right.
Oh, we're doing more with this. I love this. We're actually doing this backwards. Is it possible that she is the child that they had after Casper and he was never,
No, because Casper was like the 1800s. I mean, it was a really long time ago.
I didn't
That's
read
the
the
other
date
thing.
on that newspaper clipping.
Well, but like
train that moved around, so it can't have been that old.
Well, trains in the 1800s, but like, I think like
little toy ones that ran themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know how the 1800s worked.
Okay, I'm no expert, but I'm gonna say it's not but like, yeah, I mean, okay, but it's still like, I think it would have been even if it was like the 1900s. I mean, that's actually what I was thinking is like late just. But I don't remember looking. But like, it was clearly a long time ago, and the house was quite old.
I was under the assumption that he bought the house after Casper's family had. I imagine he passed away. The father passed away.
But he could have been like related. Like,
but all the stuff was still there.
I mean, if you look at the style of the house, the stuff, and then this whole like the pictures, like his clothes.
Well, all the stuff is still in the house, including the toys and the mother's gown and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that this was a quick property grab that is just like, I can get this really cheap. I'm gonna go with that. It's plausible.
I like her story that it's a distant relative.
Okay, I do too, but I'm going with.
You're going.
I'm
with
going
yours?
with the Casper friendly ghost reality scenario.
All right. No, that's fair.
That
was another thing I found dark is the way Casper died.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Do you remember like as a child that?
I didn't remember that. And yeah, I was thinking that he died in some sort of like accident or.
I thought it was a sledding accident.
But it was like he basically like froze to death. Like he got pneumonia, and then his father gave him like it's like some really super dark O. Henry story, but it doesn't end. It's like opposite land. He dies because his father gives him a sled because he wanted it so badly, and he goes and plays with it on the first day, and then like. Doesn't want to come in, so he gets like, I don't know, pneumonia? I have no idea. We don't know. And then dies, and then his father like is left like grieving.
Like to the point of making a machine to bring the dead
back to life. I mean, like, why couldn't he? Yeah, I thought, like, because I watched Casper the Friendly Ghost as a child, like cartoons, and it just was like, oh, he probably died in some painless, non-tragic way, like people in, Agatha Christie novels.
Do children tend to die in painless? Like, I'm sorry, what happy death did he have in your version?
Oh, I just didn't I don't know, just nothing so tragic.
He was born a ghost.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, I think I read in the trivia somewhere that in some versions of Casper that he was the child of two ghosts. And
Aw.
yeah, see, that's nice.
That's nice.
That's nice.
He's just like a little kid.
Well, he is a little kid.
Well, yes, but I mean, yes, he's he's not like a dead child. he's like a ghost child, like a puppy.
So he was meant to be 12, second grade, so a little bit older.
No, they actually say the word 12.
I say the word 12?
No, he's 12.
Oh, he was 12? Okay.
Yeah, they actually say.
Nice.
Amy goes, yes, but because he says Cinderella had until midnight.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's right.
And he said, yes, but Cinderella wasn't 12.
That's right.
Which that was one line I never forgot.
Cinderella wasn't 12?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know why. It's not significant. Just
But it is to a kid because it's such a oh yeah, this is how it works.
Well, I'm going to use that as a small opportunity to explain why this movie matters as much as it does to me. So Casper is human for 2 lines and approximately 4 minutes, as you pointed out before. And so this movie means a lot to me because I had the biggest crush on Devon Sawa. And so when he became human, the people who listen to this podcast know, as Polina has pointed out, what are the parts, Diana, that did you actually watch? And then which ones did you watch on repeat over and over again? And the answer is when the party got started to when, actually, I think I shut it off before the very, very end when the music started because that song wasn't very good. I didn't like it very much. How about that?
I don't remember the song.
Well, you probably shut it off before the credits got started.
Oh, yeah, I did.
The part where Bill Pullman goes, "Hit it, boys," and then they start playing music, the trio. Mm-mm. You didn't listen to the music?
Oh, no, I thought maybe they had, no, I saw that part, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the ghosts.
Yeah, I shut that off. When they started playing music? No, it didn't. That was about 10 seconds. They were pretty jolly after just freaking the crap out of
Oh my God.
Kids.
That was also so odd. It was
he was just brought back to life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
he just died. He saw his wife and they're all they're not let's process. Let's just he's wait, I just want to have a brandy and process what has just happened. Let's talk. No, it's I
think he'd had enough to drink that night, Polina.
Oh, that's a good point. That is a good point.
That was not good. Yes, large crush on this actor.
When did you see the actor first?
I want to say when I watched the movie Little Giants.
Okay.
Yeah. So I watched that movie a lot. Big crush on him. I will say it 8 or 9 more times. And I'm underlying this to make a point for when I watched this with Ryan. He appeared, and I actually was bracing myself because I remember it was so dramatic where you just see the back of his head, and she's all by herself.
And then all the girls are staring at him.
Yeah, why wouldn't they? And so he comes downstairs, and sure enough, there is this flourish where she's twirled around, and you get to see him for the first time. And when he turns around, and I took a look at that, I freaked out.
Even as an adult?
As an adult.
Oh, I get it. I totally get it. I had the same thing with Paul Newman.
Well, I turned around and I said, holy shit, I married that.
Oh.
And I looked at him and I'm just the pale skin. He has blue eyes. The actor has blue eyes.
The floppy blonde hair.
The floppy blonde hair. I'm
oh, yes.
Oh my God. And it was just great. And I'm going to share
You're
the story.
living the dream.
Well, okay. Yes, I'm going to accept your compliment right now.
Good for you.
Thank you. I'm going to...
You're growing.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's something funny because Ryan said jokingly is I think he said is this what they mean by glow up? Because they have that saying, with Neville from Harry Potter, how he was just the awkward kid and then he grew up to be the svelte, attractive guy that all the girls are constantly drooling over. I'm like, honey, look at that. And I pointed to Devon Sawa and I'm like, you don't glow up from that. He's already there. And then, of course, any compliment I give to that actor, it's just going to go back to him. So I'm going to stop.
Oh,
it's just kind of strange though. And I think for me, it was important because I think this was my first celebrity crush that was in my age range. Because it was John Cusack for a really long time, and it wasn't a crush because it's just I'm a little girl and this doesn't make any sense. But this is this person is my age, and it also kind of dovetailed into I didn't like Christina Ricci. She got to kiss him a lot.
Oh,
a lot. So unfair.
2 movies. I didn't even know he existed.
2 movies.
I did not know. I'm like, no, did not know.
Not a fan of the Final Destination movies?
Never saw any of the Final Destination movies.
Not a fan of the other movies that he was in?
Looking now, and
I kind of dropped off around age 14, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
No connection to HEAMCast for Carly? And that's why I thought it was funny, because that when we talked about that, you liked Casper the ghost.
Yeah, that was my least favorite part of the whole movie. Screwed it up.
This conversation's over. Well, it's fair.
Talk about like Casper what was it about Casper the character?
I don't know. He was cute.
Yeah.
Apparently cuter than the human version.
He was really cute. Like,
Yeah.
I was kind of dreading like the animated Casper, because I do have like fond childhood memories of watching like it in reruns or whatever it was on.
Pretty good CGI that they did there.
Yeah.
Which was pretty nice.
It was like, I was like, oh yeah, this is super
Pretty good. Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and to me, I mean, that was his character. And to then take this character that I love and have to re-envision him as a stupid person was just irritating. And I feel like Casper the Ghost's personality, I just couldn't picture it in a human boy, too. And, boys are gross and stuff.
yeah. Well, 12-year-old boys particularly.
And, I mean, he took her flying and did all sorts of really cool stuff and could turn into an egg. And why would he want to be a person and go to middle school?
Can go through walls.
Yeah.
When he was a human.
I had a moment where it's funny you say that, because I think I'm more on that level. Because I also was like, I'm like, for a minute I thought, oh, does he stay a human like forever? And I just felt like, well, it would be weird. It'd be a really big culture shock, because it's like at least 100 years later. And he's obviously kept up with the times, I mean, he listens to music, reads stuff.
He's able to get out of the house too, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. But then you have to go to middle school. It just doesn't seem like a good deal.
Well, fortunately, it was only about 4 minutes.
Yeah, which
notice-
also jip, because she said till 10, and I was like, oh, didn't no one realize it was 9:55?
Walk down the stairs faster, Casper.
I know. Does this have to be such a moment?
I mean, I guess he's like probably reorienting himself to having legs.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
Can you imagine if he fell? Ooh.
Oh, embarrassing.
Yeah, just a little bit. Awesome. Okay, well...
Actually, can I ask you a question, both of you?
Both of us. What's up?
I have 2 different questions. So a question I have for you is,
Me.
They have that kiss, which you liked.
Yes.
But they have that kiss in front of every single person in their class.
What is your question?
Okay. You are a woman who, on the when we saw Jerry Maguire, there's this lovely scene in the dark on her porch.
That was not a kiss. Oh, wait,
It was a kiss.
That was a low kiss. Okay, go on.
There was kissing. Mm-hmm. And you were like, oh my God, how embarrassing. There were neighbors. There's literally this her first kiss, and ostensibly his, happens in front of a bunch of other 12-year-olds. How is this not cringy for you?
Because I'm 12, Polina.
Oh.
I don't know what's going on there.
That's an excellent answer.
I don't know what's happening.
Because that, I found horrifying. I had a really difficult time with that.
That her first kiss was...
That everybody was, standing around.
Oh.
But then everyone got to see she was kissing a cute boy, so she's probably popular after that.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. And then she was kissing a ghost, so then she's not popular
Yeah, that
again.
might screw it up.
Yeah, I think she's back to not having any friends. I mean, other than Casper.
That's not the worst thing. All right, what was the second question?
So at which point did you stop watching this movie over and over again?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, I know that my Casper doll came with me everywhere, probably until about 4th grade, which was around the time I got a puppy. So I think my little sidekick shifted a little bit. But I know it was still a favorite movie. So probably middle school-ish.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm pretty sure I still would watch it occasionally and around Halloween. Throughout childhood, probably into high school.
So how many years do you think it's been since you saw it?
Ooh, probably over a decade.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which was not on purpose, but
Yeah, but
time.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you have those other 4 movies to watch now.
Exactly. So busy.
Exactly. Oh wow. No, that's
wow.
that. I was just thinking like it may have been like 2 decades for me, and it doesn't seem like it's been that long. So it's like, wow, holy crap.
Yeah.
I'm saying that a lot this episode. Holy crap.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
You're like, we're trying to get that street cred. That cursing street cred. We'll say anything about anything.
I'm earning that E for explicit episode of the podcast. All right. So we definitely spoke a lot to like pre what happened and like maybe the Casper family dynamics and what have happened. But let's look forward now. It's Kat. It's her father's back to life, and they have this whole thing with the trio, and they're dancing. Wait, that's not what I want to talk about. The romance. Dang it, why did I go there? So the romance of this, just like, I wrote a note that Casper kind of reminds me of Ducky in Pretty in Pink, and that he's really into this girl, and he's trying really hard to like set up the circumstances. He sets up the circumstances to where she is coming. In the first place, she gets the TV to show to the Cathy Moriarty's character and gets Bill Pullman to come to the house. So he's kind of a crafty little ghost, isn't he?
It's a little stocky.
Okay, thank you. I didn't want to go too far because I know this is like, you like the ghost, that's fine. But he's very crafty. He's really trying to court her with like the breakfast and like the other parts of it. I don't know. It's just like, I didn't care for the fact like before he
He's
appeared.
trying real hard.
Well, that was after, and they were trying to become friends. But like beforehand, he was like, "There's a girl in my bed." Yes, and I'm like,
Oh God, I missed that. Oh,
don't do that.
I'm glad that went over my head.
And then he snuck in underneath it, and then he was her pillow, and she kept beating him up. And I know that's supposed to be funny, but I'm just like, kid, stop it. Yeah. It's like, stop it. Like, this could go really bad if this were like a Funny or Die sketch or something.
Or they were older.
They actually had some pretty cool like jokes in there. Like when James and Kat were having the conversation, he's just like, oh, she wants to have a nice costume. I think maybe we should have the talk. Dad, I think I'm a little old for that. I think you're a little late for that. How late? Oh, not that late. I'm like, what are they talking about? I don't, never mind.
Oh God, yeah. No, that was actually uncomfortable.
A little bit uncomfortable, yeah. But I think that conversation.
But it's important to have those conversations early. You don't want to just start having them, once, and you don't want to one and done. You want to start a dialogue.
I don't.
No, nobody does.
I don't
want to, but that's what you should do. That's what they say you should do.
I'm still avoiding the talk from my mom.
Oh God, I can't even. Oh, now I'm having flashbacks. It's terrible.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Yes. So. In terms of like the fact that Casper, you could tell he was very smitten with Kat. Do you think that he was in love with her?
I think as much as he was capable as a 12-year-old dead kid.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. Pulling a rebuttal.
We're out. Like, I can't top that.
Well, and I do think it's interesting, too, that he saw her and was really infatuated with the idea of her after seeing her dad on the TV. Because he started watching when they were talking about this ghost psychologist, and he got really intrigued and was already like watching and focusing in, and you could see his mind working. And then it cut to this pretty 12-year-old loner girl, as they described her. And then he was like, oh my God, no, this is perfect, have to do it. But it was almost like he was already getting into that excited mode before seeing her. So I have to wonder if part of his immediate infatuation with her was the fact that along with her came this possibility of someone who may be able to help him.
Wow.
Or maybe even somebody who would actually interact because,
Right.
because she's in theory used to ghosts.
And he was so lonely, he kept trying to make friends with everyone, and they would just scream and run off.
And run off, yeah. And then, his uncle's not making it any better
Right.
by being terrible, terrible, terrible people.
I'm remembering their first scene where they're coming through the ceiling. Dun, 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 dun. I really appreciated that. I expected them to be a little bit more obnoxious because I remember the obnoxiousness.
They were pretty obnoxious.
But it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, so it was entertaining. They were pretty obnoxious.
Yeah.
Well, I like that perspective that he is as much as a 12-year-old dead kid can be in love with someone. I have an opinion on that. Do you think, when do you think it happened? Like, right when he saw her?
I think so.
Love through the television. Okay.
So it was like a love at first sight or crush at first sight.
Basically. And then it was a lot further into the plot before he even talked to her. So he had already done the, being her pillow and all of these other things to try to get her attention before even actually meeting her.
She touched me. Wow.
Yeah.
It's kind of creepy kid.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Lonely.
Thoughts, Polina?
Yeah, I'm kind of, I think he fell in love with her. Yeah, it was like a first sight, but I think it's like a loneliness. It's like, here's somebody who might, like, this might be the family that will help me, but then also that I can like actually have someone to talk to, who, is also an outsider. And I think for her, they're buddies. And then obviously he did this amazing thing for her. And I think that's when she had feelings for me. I mean, I find the whole love plot part of this movie, it kind of, now talking about it, I find it even more sort of disturbing and sort of I'm kind of with you. I'm like, it's sort of, it feels like the sort of shoehorned part of it sort of does curdle a bit for me, because really if it was a movie about just them being friends, but then I would be like, oh, he just wants a friend. And then it's like, oh, he actually he's kind of mad when he's petulant when she wants to dance with the human kid. He's jealous. He's ducky. And I think we talked about that, where it's it's sort of an object rather than a person, when we did Pretty in Pink, but I mean, he obviously cared, they got along, they did stuff together. I mean, it was a few days really, but I don't know. Yeah. And so to me, it's sort of ruined this whole, here are two lonely outsiders sort of, getting to be friends.
Plus,
if there's a love thing, because it just kind of makes it a different, as you said, a different thing, because it's basically unrequited. She doesn't think of him that way because he's a dead kid.
No, I think there was some reciprocation there.
Okay.
And, I mean, obviously she was ready to dance with him and kiss him and be all charmed and stuff when he was a person. But they had their nice romantic talk on the lighthouse. And in rewatching it, there was that moment where they touched hands and her hand kind of went through his. And there was this really subtle thing where she kind of awkwardly half giggled and was like, cool, and looked at the side.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
It was very embarrassed preteen with a crush moment.
Yeah.
And with her being, a kind of dark outsider girl, I think the coolness of, oh, you're a ghost and you're my friend kind of sparked something in her.
Oh, that makes it nice. I think, yeah. And also, I mean, I will say that the sort of love part of this movie does have that sweet sort of 12-year-old, any touch is thing that you have when you're 12.
Right. And this is the part where I bring up what Ryan said and cast it off as my own humor. He was going to ask if there was going to be any Twilight references. So if you got your vampires, your werewolves, and this is now Ghost. So if I start talking about like sexy vampire, sexy werewolf, sexy ghost, that's creepy because he's 12. How dare you, Ryan? But it's kind of interesting with the whole supernatural thing, but it's still in the whole prepubescent crush type of thing. So it's like
he's very innocent. He's very sweet and
yeah. I think it's also kind of interesting because you have the whole she can look at the fact that he made the sacrifice so she could have her father back. So there is that part of it that's kind of amazing. But then once it's over, it's just like, okay, I'm going to go to my party now. So that's very 12-year-old.
That was very odd. And also, what was that costume supposed to be? She's like, oh, this is perfect. I thought there'd be like an entire... She's like, oh, I was going to be, I was going to be a zombie. I was going to be... I don't know. I like didn't know where it was going to go. And it was like, she just put on the dress.
Well...
And who set up that party? They were kind of busy.
Well, also, like,
I mean, there was like in the middle of all this crazy shit's going on, and someone's like, okay, so we put the DJ booth over here. We put the DJ over here. There was got to get the punch, like the snap, like what? I think it was. How do you set up a? They like had to set up a whole sound system. They're like in the middle of this. They're doing like sound check. Like what is happening?
I think it was more interesting that they decided like on her first day of school, like okay, all in favor of having the party at this house at Katz.
Exactly. Without like the whole school.
Shouldn't there be voting? Like waivers and tickets sold?
Or wouldn't they see like and also like
ask the father
before they all agree to have it in the house?
It's not even his house.
Yeah.
So. Awkward there.
Yeah. Did you see Ashton Kutcher?
Like in real life?
No, in the movie.
No.
So, that's like basically Casper turns into a ghost.
That was Devon Sawa.
Devon Sawa stops being Devon Sawa and turns back into Casper.
I tuned out.
And every people they're frozen and they're all in a circle. And then they go, like look on everybody.
Uh-huh. And then they scream and then they run out.
And then they scream. And it's like they flash on like 3 different people.
Okay.
And I have to say my friend Robin noticed this. It's one of the last one, the cowboy, was Ashton Kutcher.
Huh. How was that not in trivia?
No idea.
That makes no sense.
Thank you, Robin.
I'm going to laugh so
She's
hard.
a listener.
I'm going to laugh so hard if she misidentified him.
She didn't. We looked it up.
Oh, there you go.
Nope.
It was actually Mila Kunis.
It was Demi Moore.
Damn it. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good on you, Casper, going from, the object of my attention to the object of her attention. And we both didn't notice that Ashton Kutcher was there. But I don't really care for Ashton.
He was there for like literally 30 seconds just because we saw it twice.
But I'm
not even
good at these things, so congratulations, Polina.
Well, it was Robin. It was
congratulations, Polina.
It was not me. I said no, it's not.
Congratulations, Polina.
Robin, give her due. She's very observant.
I don't know. I'm just gonna somehow blame this on Ryan.
Why is that Ryan's fault? He wasn't there.
He was sitting there.
In my house?
You don't know how to blame people.
No, I don't.
I know.
I believe in the blameless postmortem. That was for Ryan. So that's that. Ashton Kutcher.
So 12-year-old love, very delicate but adorable in this movie, but also really dark. So I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Well, they're lonely people.
Well,
You can still be sweet.
I'm making an awkward segue, so.
Do you want to make it more awkward or less awkward?
Oh no, I'm not gonna take the bait on that.
What was that?
What was that? Was it Casper?
What time is it?
It was Casper.
No, what's the?
Oh,
9.
53, 58.
But it's exactly 9. Could it have been a clock?
Does that clock do the thing?
It's never done the thing.
Oh, I know, right?
Maybe it just does it at 9. Doesn't matter.
I'm gonna say it was Casper.
It was Casper.
So now here's the important question. We've got ghosts, we got humans. We have humans that have given a second chance. What happens next?
Don't look at me. I don't know.
Carly, do you have any thoughts?
Somebody else go.
I do. I have some thoughts that wraps it up in a mostly nice, tidy bow. So, yeah, it really doesn't end. There's no conclusion for any of the characters, except for what's-her-face, the heiress, who's just gone, which that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And... You know, the dad made that comment about possession being 9/10 of the law. So I'm going to take that to mean that they got to stay in the house.
That was a great joke, by the way. Which I thought
That's
a great joke.
Yeah, there were some great jokes. I'm not gonna lie.
So I assume they stayed in the house. You know, Kat was in one place, kind of started to build a group of peers, even if she was the ghost kissing girl. And they had a good rapport with all four of the ghosts. So I imagine they probably stayed there and kind of built a life. And I imagine he started counseling the ghosts. And I would imagine that the uncles probably would have fulfilled their unfinished business and gotten to cross over periodically, which I think Casper probably would have wanted to stick around for Kat since they had their whole thing going, but he isn't growing. She would need to grow. Eventually, she would grow up, move on with her own life, and then hopefully he would help Casper cross over, and then there would just be humans doing human lives, and the ghosts live or don't live happily ever after. That's my best shot.
No, that's pretty good.
No, that's really nice. Mine mainly just had to do with the fact that, you know, so you were looking at the aspects of like the ownership of the house, where I was looking at it the other way. I'm just like, well, no one has it anymore. And I suppose theoretically they could squat, but given the whole circumstances of everything, I think like going with what you were just saying, like Bill Pullman's character is going to help them. Like, I think he's going to try to help them cross over, but it's like unfinished business. I'm not really sure how do you get over the unfinished business aspect of it? I'm not even sure how good he is at his job. Like, didn't Kat even say like we don't even see them? Like, he does this, but I don't know if he gets anywhere. So
yeah, you said it takes a few years. Like, he wasn't like when he talked to, I wasn't like, oh, it wasn't. I mean, I know it was a joke, but like the reality is like, oh, he's just gonna, you know, this whole process takes.
It could take
years.
No, Lord knows how long, but
then maybe it was really simple because all the heiress had to do was cross over and say the words, I have no unfinished business. So maybe it's more of a choice than anything.
Wow. Okay, that's really an interesting point, though. Actually, and if you think about it, Casper got from Amelia, the mom. He got from her that, you know, she said that, you know, your father is very proud of you. And the first time I heard her say that, I'm just like, wait, why? Because he ghosted? Wait, what's happening? I don't understand. But it turns out he was happy. His life was fulfilled because he found out the machine worked. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And I thought that was kind of interesting. So there's an opportunity for Casper.
Oh, I thought he was proud of him because like he did this incredibly kind thing.
That's an interesting thing, but there's actually a line that says like he got to see that his machine worked. So, you know, he was very happy about that. Like, yes, he's
happy about it. It's different than him being proud of his son.
Okay, I don't remember the script, but I thought
I'm so confused by the last 30 minutes of this movie.
Well, she was very happy that, you know, actually I think that's where I had my confusion.
Yeah, it's because it's confusing. I mean, it is confusing
because there was like, you know, you did a noble thing and that was amazing, but at the same time though, and your father's really proud of you too. I think that's what was happening.
He did say he said he was proud of you.
Yeah, but it's also just like you got to see that his machine worked. And I thought that was pretty interesting as well. I'm just like, yeah, that's really messed up. And for the record, though, looking back to it, I'm going to go back to it again. That man drove himself insane by trying to build a machine to bring the dead back. And Casper stayed there because he didn't want his father to be lonely, in turn driving his father mad. That's also pretty messed up. I mean, I understand, but
that is dark. That's even darker than any of the things we've been talking about.
Well, yeah, and I'm just like, I'm listening to that whole thing, and they're reading the articles, and I'm just like, oh my God, he really messed up his dad. I mean, losing your kid is messed up as it is, but he's like, I didn't want him to be lonely. I'm like, what did you do?
He's a child. Yeah.
Then again, yes, he is 12. He doesn't know better.
Yeah.
Wait, I really.
Okay, so what happens next?
Well, I guess that is the opportunity for Casper to find his way out. I think that the trio's going to stay there because they're having way too much fun. And the fact that they're able to get messages to people on the other side, there's just way too much of an opportunity for them to stay there. So I think, like you were saying, I think they're going to stick around. I think Casper's going to go. But I also think that Kat and James are going to leave because it's an opportunity to start fresh again. But this time they're looking at, because he even said, we're going to settle. And this time he's going to make a real go out of it to make sure that she has stability, that he's not chasing ghosts, but instead establishing roots. So he's going to open up, he's going to reacquaint himself with humans and not ghosts. And he's going to attempt to practice in a town to where she can have a stable life. And I think that's what's going to happen. She's going to find herself a nice human boyfriend who's not a ghost, but she'll probably be like in college by that point. And then eventually she'll die. Because everyone does.
Everybody does.
Yeah, it sounds like the humans would be a lot less screwed up in yours than in mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yours is so nice.
So every time I started to have to think about what happened next, my head would explode. Like, I just couldn't find anywhere to go that didn't make me just want to, like, stop thinking about it.
Do you want to just pick one of ours?
No, I actually, in listening to you guys, I have come to a place where I too can finish this business and can cross over and not have to obsess about what happens to these people ever again. So here's what happens. So they do cast, like, the unfinished business, like, does happen, but for Casper and for the folks, for the uncles, and basically they're gonna open. So they have this house, 9/10 of the law. Eric Idle, a lawyer, basically, after, like, kind of comes around because I don't really know where he disappears to.
Well, he got, like, pushed out of a window or something. Is he dead?
I don't want Eric Idle to die. Okay. So I've decided he's not. Like, basically he landed in a thing and he just kind of comes back.
Okay.
Because he, and so basically they stay, it's like, okay, this is said, like, this is done. We don't have to do this anymore. We've seen the mom. We don't need to. So they have this huge house now. Eric Idle's like, I know how to make this happen. I'm a lawyer. And they open up a B&B, and it's highly successful because people love, every really successful B&B has a ghost. This is a fact. Ghosts in B&B. No, really, like, I don't know, like, seriously, like, how many B&Bs, maybe you don't stay in a lot of B&Bs, I for some reason do, my husband loves them. They, like, often will have a there's often a sort of a ghost element. So they're already like success. And I mean, they don't intend to. They're like, it's an old house and this kind of, I don't know. It's a very weird thing, but, like, a lot of them do. And come on, Twitter, back me up on this.
And you don't have to do that, Twitter.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. Do my bidding, Twitter.
Stop bullying Twitter.
But isn't that what you do? Isn't that the point? Anyway, so what they do is they open up this bed and breakfast, and that is how, and they stay in the town, and basically what starts out as fear, everybody kind of thinks is cool. And I think that Casper does cross over, but I think he does kind of come back to give her, advice throughout her life until she too passes. Like, it stops being kind of a crush thing and is more of like a friendship thing, because he's no longer lonely and he can, like, kind of deliver messages and I think, like, and kind of help her out. And it's kind of an imaginary friend that's not imaginary. Only child. yeah, I think it kind of becomes this thing. And so, yeah, I think they are actually really successful. It's a beautiful house, and, you know, they can have weddings there. It's gorgeous. And then obviously the sound system's fantastic.
I think that was the DJ.
Well, but, you know, like the acoustics are really good.
I
Like
think that
they
was
have.
DJ Cowboy Ashton Kutcher.
He was not the DJ.
No, I know.
The DJ was a.
I'm saying in my alternate future.
Yeah. Well, but the DJ doesn't put up the sound system and didn't create the house with the fantastic acoustics. So they have there's you know, they have little concert. Like, it's going to be great. They're going to have a great, super successful B&B. They're going to find they're going to find some chef. There's going to be a mission, from the town. There's going to be maybe it's Ashton Kutcher. And
you know, to say Michelin rated.
I was just about to say it. I'm still gonna say it.
I love that
he's gonna get a Michelin star.
You know that this
bringing
town
it back
has 1,000 people in it, right?
It doesn't matter. There's Michelin starred restaurants in small places. I went to the one I went to in Canada. That's a very small town.
Well, wait. I thought they didn't do Michelin ratings for. Never mind. This doesn't.
They do.
For such
For what?
For such a tiny area.
No, it's like restaurants all over the world.
No, I know about the. Never mind.
I mean, there's anyway. Yes. Yes.
Say,
they do not just go to cities. There's Michelin starred restaurants that are in small places.
I'm just.
But the thing is, people go leaf peeping. The tiny towns in Vermont, people are going to go leaf peeping in the fall.
Okay, I'm raising my hand right now. What?
Wait, what part? The Michelin star, the leaf peeping. You guys are Californians. Okay.
Yeah.
So on the east, in New England, what people do in the fall is you go and you drive around to towns, you drive around to little towns and you go look and through country roads in the fall to look at the leaves when they turn colors, because they're stunning.
I understand the concept.
But they call it leaf peeping. There's an actual word.
Okay.
Seriously.
I know, I believe you. I just don't like it.
It's a terrible word. When I was a kid, we didn't call it quite leaf peeping. And then I recently, because I took my California husband to the East Coast, and I was looking up what the foliage would look like around that time, if it would be good. And I came across this term that I somehow avoided the entire time I lived there.
Yeah, I'm going to not use that word.
No, but it's a thing. I see it once now you will see it everywhere. It's very disturbing.
I don't want to peep
leaf peeping is a thing. Yeah. So the thing is, yes, it's a small area, but people like to, you go to those places, you go hiking. Look how gorgeous it was. It was a quaint little town.
Is there anywhere to hike? It seemed kind of flat and cliffy.
Well, those are where people hike, is flat, cliffy places.
No, that's where people fall off the cliff because they're heiresses, and then it was convenient to the plot.
Right. I'm sure there isn't only I'm sure there's some hill. Anyway, when they were driving, that first scene when they were coming in, and they had a little, they had the aerial view. It looked perfect place to have a B&B. Romantic getaway. Okay. I'm telling you.
So we have B&B, R.I.P., and other initials.
I was like, if you pull this off, I'm going to be, I don't know. You deserve a medal of some kind. I'm like, oh, this is good.
No, I can't even make a joke. I'm just going to let it go. Yay! We did it. We totally did it.
We talked about Casper.
Yes, we did. We're very excited about that.
Thank you so much for that opportunity.
This was amazing. Thank you so much. We would like to have our listeners go to where you want them to go, which is my awkward way of saying, what would you like to promote while you're on our podcast? And you have literally tens and tens of people listening.
But they're the best people. So quality over quantity, man.
Animal shelters. Please adopt a shelter pet, whether it's a dog, cat, young, old, private rescue, municipal shelter. There are many, many, and they need homes. October is a great time to adopt a black cat. All the shelters are full of them, and they are just the best. And if you don't have a place in your home for an animal right now, please donate. I can guarantee that every little bit helps and is appreciated.
No,
Where should we donate? What's a good place to donate to?
Berkeley Humane is a great place to start. But
You don't say.
great organization, but honestly, all of the animal rescues and shelters work together as a community. So whichever animal group serves your area, that will benefit all the animals.
No, wonderful.
Yeah, and in fact, I myself have partaken in the Amazon wish list for the Berkeley Humane Society. So I am going to link
I
to
didn't
that.
even know.
Yeah, I can link to that in the show notes.
That's nice.
It's actually a lot of fun, and depending on what we're feeling that day, I'm just like, yeah, I know food is very important, but they do have on the wish list the animal tutus because they need to have them be all really cute in their photos because that's how you get adopted. I believe we have bought some neckties for dogs. So we'll link to
next time I go shopping on Amazon, which is very soon, most likely, knowing me.
It was 45 minutes ago.
Yeah. If I'd known about next time, I'm going to stick something in my cart for the Berkeley Humane Society. So,
Aw, well, I'm sure that they'll love that. I know I like it. Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you so much, Carly, for that. Okay, so we have expressed some interesting thoughts about Casper the ghost, Casper the human. What the hell was this movie? That was Paulina. So we want to know what you think about Casper. Human, ghost,
Yes.
Twilight, what have
Mattress.
you? Do you have the right initials that I could have ended this?
yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the game.
Yeah. Well,
yes, please.
Well, did you try doing it in real time? See how well
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they have plenty of time, but I bet our listeners
you can do.
will come up with something very clever as they do.
You can help do Paulina's bidding if you find us on Twitter at HEAMCast.
HEAMCAST.
We're also on Facebook at Happily Ever Aftermath.
Also, if you back me up on the haunted bed and breakfast thing, I mean, really, it's a thing.
Okay. I want to hear.
She looks so skeptical, guys. Please, come on. I need you.
It is my preference that 1, my place of accommodations is not haunted. 2, that's it. I don't want my...
I don't. To be honest, I've stayed in several B&Bs that were quote unquote haunted. Never saw a ghost.
Okay, I'm not paying extra for that.
Yeah, but there are people who will.
Okay, send links to us. I want to hear a little bit more about this.
All right, I'm gonna. Yeah,
not you. I'm talking to the listeners. And you can send them to our email, contact@heamcast.com. If you want to check out other amazing lady-led podcasts, you can go to any social media and you can check out the hashtag LadyPodSquad.
Wonderful stuff.
And I think now is a great time to give a great thanks to our sponsor, Frankie and Myrrh.
Frankie and Myrrh, the fantastic aromatherapy brand. So my Frankie and Myrrh story for this time is that, so I think I mentioned a separate one that I have been really into Study Buddy, like so much so that I work, I keep carrying it from my office. I work some of the time at home, some time in my office, and I keep carrying it back and forth. Really should get the roll on, so I can have it with me at all times. But I absolutely love it. It like really actually does help me focus. But recently, after like our one spate of rain, I suddenly got this like really random ant issue in, of all places, my bedroom, which has no food or candy that I know of. Maybe it's being hidden. But so anyway, but what was, I was kind of getting desperate because I discovered them on a Saturday and they couldn't send anyone until Monday. And I sprayed some Study Buddy. And it like, they were gone.
They were gone?
Yeah. So I've been carrying this bottle. Now I'm like, I don't ever want to be without it because it has saved me. So it turns out this is a thing. Like it's peppermint and rosemary and some other, I don't think it's peppermint rosemary. God, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Miss Frankie and Mr. Murr, Ms. Murr. But it's, they hate those. They hate really strong smells like that. And I tried like all the other home remedies, like vinegar, whatever. Seriously, kept them. It was like, and my room smelled amazing. It didn't smell like vinegar or something horrible. It was so nice. Anyway, but also it kept, and then I felt very focused despite the fact that, despite the ant invasion that I suddenly had. And that is just one of the scents. I also, I think I've said I love, the sunshine.
Yeah.
Hello Sunshine also.
If it makes you feel better, I looked it up. It's peppermint, rosemary, and lemon.
I am not crazy.
Well, not because of that.
Yes. God, I've actually remembered something. It's kind of shocking on air.
So now if you want to have this accurate, peppermint, rosemary, lemon spray.
Yeah.
How can they get it?
So you too might need to focus and get rid of ants. Basically, I'm never going to be without it ever again because obviously it just does everything that I need. So, but you might want some of this. So if you go to Frankie and Murr and you put in your order, you put in the promo code HAPPILY.
Oh, sorry. HAPPILY.
Thank you. And by the way, it's Frankie and Murr, FRANKIE and MYRRH. You will get 20% off your entire purchase and free shipping. Now, even if you're like, you know what? I want these lovely people to have every penny. The Frankie and Murr people, I want, I don't want Polina and Diana to have anything. You still get the free shipping. So, and your package will come so beautifully packaged. It'll arrive and it'll arrive on it'll arrive on your doorstep when you come home from work from a really rough day, and there'll be all sorts of presents. And there is not a scent like we've tried that we both, or I certainly, I should not speak for others, did not absolutely adore. And now I need more.
I'm going to back up a step there. Any purchase over $35 gets free shipping.
Thank you.
So that is a very important thing.
Yeah.
It's domestic as well.
Yeah.
But 20% off, again, that code is HAPPILY. Use that
Happily.
at checkout.
Yeah. Thank you. And it helps support us, which we really appreciate.
Yeah. So next time,
I would love to revisit 2001's Amelie.
2002.
Okay. Look, I got the rosemary and peppermint right. Let's not expect anything else from me for the rest of the podcast.
You have 1 point, so we'll keep it.
Yeah, that's it. Plus one.
Right.
Yeah, I am excited to rewatch this movie.
The point is, see the movie early 2000s, not in English. Amelie.
Oh, you're right. I forgot it wasn't in English.
I already groaned about it. I was going to do a lot of reading.
Oh, you're going to do a lot of groaning?
I'll be fine.
Hey, you made it through a couple musicals and you survived.
3 hours.
Have we done another foreign film? I feel like we did. Another film with subtitles.
I don't remember, but we'll worry about that later.
Yeah.
Okay, so Amelie, next time.
Yep.
All
Excited.
Right. Thank you so much, Carly.
Thank you so much.
This was amazing.
Thank you for having me.
was.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun.
And please come back.
Yes.
Anytime you want to talk about other paranormal crushes, non-paranormal crushes, romantic movie, what have yous.
Movies of any kind, or just you just want to talk.
Well, no, then we won't record it.
That's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, everyone.
Everyone.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.